by making use of the intelligence and other capabilities given to them by God, by discovering and ingeniously utilizing the tremendous power and potentiality the Creator has stored up in the universe. There was a question today, are scientists playing God? Not at all. Scientists are not producing these potentialities. These potentialities are put there, hidden away in a way by God, by the Creator. Whoever be the Creator is put there. What scientists do is they go and uncover this covered up potentialities and bring that potentialities out and make use of them for the good of humanity, for the good of the world. So humans are not competing with God, they are collaborating with God. This is very important to realize. Science is not playing God. Science cannot play God because science does not produce the raw material. The raw material has been given by whoever the Creator is. You can be, different religions will have different things, but whoever the Creator is, that Creator has put these things there. Scientists only go and pick them out, discover them first, and God has given them intelligence. Using their intelligence, find ways and means of cleverly and ingeniously using this, their intelligence and using these potentialities for the benefit of humanity, for the benefit of the world. That is what they are doing. They are collaborators, not competitors with God. For instance, genetic revolution. In genetic revolution, scientists unlock the hidden powers of genes and use these potentialities to improve food production, as we saw today as we heard from today from Dr. Hussain, animal husbandry, medical field, we heard from Dr. Srinivasu, you see, and this is what they're doing. But this complex process carries great promises and serious perils. This noble vision of perfecting and completing our universe has to be done in such a way that the good effects are maximized and the ill effects are minimized. This challenging and delicate process of maximizing the good effects and minimizing the ill effects cannot be carried out by science alone. And I believe sound, this is what Dr. Faravo has been hinting at, sound and time-tested ethical religious principles have to be included and integrated into scientific developments to achieve this momentous task of maximizing the benefits and minimizing the ill effects or the harm. Okay, science, religion, ethics interaction is an attempt to maximize the benefits of scientific developments and minimize the harm that usually accompany such scientific developments. For instance, we have seen the Human Genome Project, which reveals to us the genetic makeup of us humans. We have also seen the tremendous capability of CRISPR and Cas9 enzyme and other recent developments. All these are wonderful discoveries and powerful tools to build up a greater humanity and a better world. But all these are capable also of causing harm to humanity and the universe. In our talk, most of the, they were focusing, Dr. Srinivasu, Dr. Hussain, and Dr. Susan, and so on. They're focusing mainly on the beneficial, the positive effects. Very good, by all means, very good. But there are also problems. For instance, pollution, disturbance of biodiversity. Yesterday, Dr. Susan spoke about that. Widening of the gap between the rich and the poor, and accompanying law and order problems. All these and many others are part of the ill effects of these scientific breakthroughs. So to minimize these harmful consequences, we need to allow sound and time-tested ethical religious principles to interact and integrate with the scientific developments. And this will require serious, sustained, ongoing research, ongoing studies, discussions, debates, webinars, etc. All these things are required. And CIDRS has taken up this great initiative of offering this webinar so that our knowledge and our understanding will be enriched, and we will be able to be better participants, better collaborators with God or with the Creator to build up a better world and better humanity. And that way, enrich ourselves, enrich our brothers and sisters. This is a great mission we have been trying to do. And this is what we are trying to accomplish during these 2 days. And I'm very happy that we have been able to accomplish it to, to the best of our ability. Once again, I thank all the organizers and I congratulate the organizers for the great work they have done and the success they have reaped. Thank you, and God bless all of you.
Thank you, Father, for summarizing in a nutshell all the aspects of genetic research and its impact and giving us a holistic understanding. As a concluding remark, I would like to share with you the famous quote by F. Capra: "Science does not need religion, and religion does not need science, but man needs both." We are now moving to the valedictory session. On behalf of SFS College, I extend a very heartfelt gratitude to all the resource persons who have graced our webinar on recent developments in genetics and their impact on religion and society, and sharing with us their insight, findings, and opinions. I am thankful to His Grace, Most Reverend Elias Gonzalez, Archbishop of Nagpur and Chairman of SFS College, for encouragement and support. I must mention our deep sense of appreciation and gratitude to Father Joe for your support and motivation to carry out such webinar. Thank you, Father. We are also grateful to Indian Institute of Science and Religion, IISR Delhi, for their continued support. I must mention our deep sense of appreciation to Dr. Firoz Hussain. In spite of his busy schedule, he found time to share his knowledge on nutritional quality enrichment in maize through genetic avenues. Thank you, sir.